here we go. Joe Jensen here today. We're at Nispec Custom Machine, and we are looking at a part that they make for us that it's a support part for the HAAS CNC mini mills as well as the VF2s. But all right, John's here today. He runs the machines here in the shop. He's going to explain to us what it is and a bunch more details about it. But starting off, what is it?
Okay, this is the coolant ring manifold upgrade that we designed and manufactured here just for our own benefit to have it on the machine. It really makes your life a lot easier. It's quicker and it's more reliable. It doesn't your lines don't get moved around by chips as easy and all that stuff. So we'll do like a little assembly video. First, I'll show you how to check, make sure it'll fit your machine.
Okay, we're going to verify fitment on the CNC.
You want to measure your spindle, and I don't have the number.
I think it's 5/200.
I think it is 5/200. It's a metric number. But your spindle diameter and your clearance around your umbrella tool changer. So this,
make sure it fits before we start bolting it on.
You need to have more than the wall thickness between your spindle and your tool changer. You definitely probably should.
Go ahead and slide it up there once just so they can see where it's going to go.
I like to position it. There's like the tapered end of the spindle. That last rib is where the spindle becomes true and round. Just like an 1/8 inch above that. So it's on a nice round part of the spindle. It's going to get a nice grip. You don't have to, if you have it too low, you'll be able to have it cocked, crooked, or whatever.
It's not overly critical. It just can't be where it can fall off or get into any other trouble.
Yeah, and you are going to snug a set screw, so you don't want to be in those ribs.
Yeah, so just put it on a nice straight section. There's a long straight section. You can put it up or down wherever you want.
Yeah, it could be. It's just easier to get your lines on the lower you have it, but you can have it as high as you want.
You can run shorter lines that are less flimsy.
Yeah.
And then clocking, you just want to clock where all the 1/8 inch pipe threads
away from your umbrella.
Away from the umbrella.
All the way to the right.
Yeah. So then, can you run the umbrella over there like you did earlier?
Yes, that will actually just sit there. There is 10 thousandths of clearance, but I have it pitched a little bit.
So this is us verifying it's not gonna interfere.
Do a tool change, and I'll feed hold it. And you can see there is a window of room on both sides.
There's a mile around it. Sweet. So that's gonna fit.
But I'm not going to leave the tool in there because I don't want to cut myself on it when we're messing around with the parts.
So there we go. So we verified fitment. That part is good. So we're going to go ahead and work on putting it on. So I have tools required. What, a 9/16 wrench?
Yep, that'll tighten these fittings.
Allen wrench for the set screw.
Yeah, Allen wrench, whatever you want to use for a set screw. Yeah.
And these are called, what are they called? Push locks?
They are lock line.
Lock line. Lock line, rubber mallet, in case you need it, and the lock line pliers, which are only $12 on the lock line site. So if you want to make your life easier. What all parts are here?
These fittings are 1/8 inch MPT to the 1/4 inch lock line ball that we just chose to use 1/8 inch MPT. There'll be 5 of those, 1 for the feed, and then the 4 nozzles out.
What is this guy? This one looks more complicated than the others.
We like to use the 90s just because it's easier. You don't end up with as much sweeping line.
Yep.
This is your check valve. That's critical. You have to have it in the right direction, and you need it, or
that keeps prime from the coolant pump to the ends of these things.
And the one union to go, because you're going from male to male connector, so you have to have a union in there somewhere.
Okay.
So you have a female on both ends of this. And then your
these are our lines.
4 nozzles. I like to run, I think it's 6 here.
Yep, I counted them earlier.
Yeah, I like to run 6, then you can get a nice arc to your tool from your, you don't end up with a tight bend or trouble adjusting
it.
it.
It's not too short, but it's not overly long that it's flimsy either.
Yeah, it's a nice rigid
spot.
It can handle getting hit by the drill chips and everything.
And this machine's a HAAS, it's a HAAS Mini.
This is a Mini mill, yeah. I am fairly confident that there is a lot of HAAS mills that have that same spindle.
Yeah, there are a lot.
Yeah, so it probably fits lots of machines. So that's why I wanted to show verifying the fit.
That's what I found too. So let's go ahead and put it on there.
Okay. The assembly, these aren't really, they don't need Teflon or nothing. They're plastic. Just
It's still
just
a good
snug
enough.
them, they'll seal up.
Yeah.
Really, I would bet finger tight is probably good enough, but then your nozzles might move around, so. And it is easy to cross thread MPT, and that will ruin your fitting pretty quick, so. And it's not critical. This is a open cavity in here. You don't have to run this to a specific port. We run it to the middle port. I don't know, I don't know. It looks formatted when it's on the machine. It made sense to me when I did it.
Cosmetics.
Yeah, basically. You can tighten these pretty tight. They're made of good plastic. I don't think you really have to, but you don't want to move it
Use good
around.
judgment when doing it.
Yeah.
So what are the benefits to having all these coolant nozzles on the machine? Like, why is one not adequate enough for what you
They're
do?
different length tools. You want the coolant pointing right at the end of the tool where it's making contact with your workpiece. So
you can have one for each different tool, and then like multiple coolant like blasts help move chips and stuff.
I think
out
what
of the way too, right?
HAAS actually sells a programmable. I don't really like it. It's not that great. It's just one nozzle, but you could program it to the length of your tool. Then
And it's probably not $99 like this coolant ring.
yeah, this gets you a nice flood of coolant. It helps flush your chips. I think it's better. It's a little bit hard to hold all
crosses
this.
the T's and dots the I's without costing an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
Here's those lock line pliers.
Yeah, they're nice to have, and they are directional. This bigger
One way
side
takes it off, one way
gets
puts it
that,
on.
and then the littler side goes against the ball. So you snag the ball, and
Pop it on there, nice.
it does really save your fingers.
Yeah, they're only like $12 or something.
Some of the lock line we have here it's not new, and it gets wore out and gets looser. Some of it's easier to put together.
Yeah, new stuff's probably,
Yeah.
It's not broken yet.
This is directional. I don't want to put it on backwards. It feeds from the female end and out the male end. With just a little rubber diaphragm in there.
It probably gets awkward if you put that on wrong, though.
Oh, I did it when we when we first put these together.
Probably
I was like,
pops
oh,
it, just pop it off.
This machine won't, but if it had real coolant pressure, it would.
Blast it off there. And that'd probably get real awkward.
Yeah, these little mini mills don't make that much coolant pressure, like probably 10 psi of small volume. That's another reason why this is such an advantage to have, because you already are working with kind of a subpar coolant pressure. So if you could get more of a volume with the more nozzles than the one nozzle programmable option.
More nozzles to move all your chip load and everything out of the way and all that stuff. That's interesting, the different tool lengths. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
So
And
it's different. When it changes the tool and it has a drill come out or it has like a face mill, it'll be two different.
There's lots
like
of
a
lock
different
line
price.
options for this. This is just what we had in the shop, so this seemed like the right thing to do. But you could buy these with a 90, and then lock line makes it's a little ball and socket with a needle, and then it's nice and sleek and small, and you can point the 4 needles wherever you want them. They're expensive though; they're $25 or something.
This
a
gets
piece.
the job done and it doesn't break the bank.
Yeah, most machine shops have this stuff. So.
Yeah, you gotta think about your your profit versus losses. You can't if you overspend and don't overmake, it's yourself in trouble.
So that is
Gotta keep
basically
costs in
how
mind.
we run it.
Awesome.
And this is, the lid could be taken off and cleaned in there. We just silicone and bolt it on. I don't really think you'd have any reason to ever take it off, but if you maybe got some muck or goo in there blocking it up, you could take it apart, clean it, put it back together. Black Permatex glue will hold up to the coolant. What is that called?
There's different types of sealants.
Whatever it is,
Anything
but
would work.
something
really.
that'll hold up to the coolant and not get gooey and block your lines.
Yeah, you could almost
set
get away
screw.
with not running anything in there. It just
I would-
might drip a little bit. at the
With
worst
this,
case.
again, we just had it in the shop, so we used it. I would probably get a set screw so it less sticking out in your way. We get like a brass
Cosmetics.
tip on it if you really wanted.
Yeah. If you
And you don't
want.
have to worry about it marking up the spindle. It's not gonna hurt it though.
There's the Allen wrench. So minimal tools, minimal This is not like it's rocket science to put this puppy on there.
Yeah, I just eyeball it, the clocking.
Yeah,
I would
away
say
from your
that's-
umbrella tool changer stuff.
And it does not need to be tight. It stays on just by
it was
itself.
just sitting there earlier, didn't move.
Yeah, there's no point in crushing that into your.
So there you got a shut off or whatever, shut off valve.
Yeah, the shut off valve could also. That's probably on your machine, I would think. Most people, if you want to be able to shut this off and then use your flush hose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna grab the pliers and put that on.
Lock line pliers again. They should be paying us for this, huh?
Yeah.
Give us a kickback.
Oh, maybe not. Oh yeah, there. Okay, that gets on. There's your union. I did just put that on. How did I do that? I did that backwards.
Oh, you got the easy to use pliers.
Yeah. No, I had it right. Okay, I'm confusing myself now.
Second guessing. Right. It's not hard to do. That's the nice part about this whole thing. It's pretty easy process.
Yeah. Looks different on there. Okay.
Now
Now
when it's upside down, it throws you off.
it's pretty easy to prove whether or not you did it right. We'll just turn the coolant on. And there you have your
There
flush.
you go. Look at that.
I also have kind of like, I don't know, just a trick. Basically makes this easy. The point of all the lines is for your tool length. So this tool's not really set up for anything, but if you just start with a long tool in there, then you have something to aim for, a target.
Okay,
to
so you
hit.
can kind of like center them.
Yeah. I like to put this one up toward the top. Again, this is actually a little longer than I'd like it to be. My solid holders are shorter. So I'm just gonna aim at the center, but up there, not actually hitting the tool, but just aiming for the center. You set one about every inch, and then you really should.
You got everything covered then.
You don't have a lot of Z travel on these little machines, so if you set one at every inch and you cover 4 inches, starting at maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches down, I think you're probably gonna cover anything you're ever gonna use.
Awesome.
Then it gives a nice flush on the whole tool.
Yeah. So
Then if you went
set.
through, I'll take that tool out. But
then
just
we can,
change to the next tool. I would see at least 1 or 2 of these are probably right where they need to be. 3
There
of
you
them
go.
grounding the tool.
Send it. So we can hit cycle start then pretty soon, right? And watch it make some chips.
Yeah, I'll pull this light out of here so it's set up.
Maybe a little hard to see. We'll do our best.
Yeah, I could keep the light close. But
I think we'll be
yeah, that window doesn't look bad.
There we are in there.
Switch
See
back
how it
over to
flexes a
memory. This has been running this morning already, so I trust it. And that floods the whole tool.
Yep, just blasting the chips right off there. Been nice and wet.
Yeah, when we first got these machines, we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make the coolant better, shopping on eBay. There's a few options out there, but
This is the best bang for the
yeah,
buck.
there's a reason we made our own. The other options weren't that great.
Yeah, you don't have to spend any time, stopping the machine to clear chips and all that stuff. It's definitely has a lot of benefits especially for the cost. Which is, like we said, about $99 what they're advertised for now. We'll link the eBay store and the eBay ad in the comments. It's incredible.
That's engraving there. That's why it don't look like it's doing much.
Gotcha. So you have 2 vices set up in here, one operation and another operation.
There's actually 4 ops in there. They're double vices. There's up 1, up 2, up 3, up 4. On the
So
right.
one of these parts will be done,
Yeah.
and it's like rotating like in volleyball or something.
Yeah.
You just kind of
The-
keep
It goes
shifting.
from the back left all the way to the right front through the cycle.
and then one
like
will
a
be
Z.
done, and then you just move 3 of the 4, and then you throw a fresh one in there.
Yeah, you end up getting a complete part only every 3.5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. And you don't have. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to stop and mess with the machine. The coolant's not adding any extra steps because of this nice part. Well, we hit our 15 minutes. I think we covered everything. Hope you like it. Like I said, we'll link the eBay ad below, and you get yours on the way. There's plenty of them in stock, and we're gonna combine a kit for all the lock line stuff. That way, if you want,
it'd be nice to get feedback if they like the way we did that. That'll be the kit.
Yeah, yep. I don't see. Yeah, that's pretty hard to beat the way that's set up. So if you want to get your own lock line, it's fine. If you want us to supply it, that's fine. Very cool. Alrighty, we'll see you next time.